you that the book that we're speaking about is A is for Activist. It is written and illustrated by Inosanto Nagara. This is the summary provided by the Mackin Educational Resources that I'm assuming guided the judgment of the library media specialist to select this text. And I want to highlight at the top, it indicates that it's appropriate for grade levels 4 to 7, unless it means age 4 to 7, but I'm pretty certain that means grade level 4 to 7. And the publisher's description says, this best-selling ABC book is written and illustrated for the next generation of progressives, families who want their kids to grow up in a space that is unapologetic about activism, environmental justice, civil rights, LGBTQ rights, and everything else that activists believe in and fight for. A continuous bestseller for the Triangle Square, we heard from booksellers around the country who clamored for a large format edition that would appeal to children over the age of 5. This is the original version of the book. It was a 4x4-inch hardback board book. They wanted to make it a book that was larger to appeal to children ages 5 and up. Inosanto Nagara is a children's author, activist, and graphic designer. He is the author of the alphabet book, A is for Activists, as well as the other children's books, Counting on Community.
Dr. Miro, irrelevant.
I think the background of the author...
The author's intent, we have no one here to justify his claim.
According to the benchmarks for the standards for language, ELA, in the state, identifying the author's purpose is relevant to interpreting the text.
But he's not here to justify his intent.
Well, if you have evidence to offer to the contrary, I'd be happy to accept.
What slide do you have this on?
This is in my exhibit number 3. It's very difficult to establish the age appropriateness because the reviewers themselves cannot decide. And that's because if you look at the lexile level, the vocabulary level, the content level, and the imagery that's presented, it's mixing age groups. I think it's relevant that the author himself said he wrote it for his 2-year-old son. That's my point. He also describes himself as a Marxist and says that capitalism is inherently exploitative and an alienating system, and that socialism presents a positive alternative. He also states that the U.S. government is the main impediment to peace.
Dr. Miro, excuse me, please. The author's admission of his information you're reading to us is not relevant. So let's discontinue with, he's not here to justify his intent.
I think it will be relevant as I show the allusions to Marxism throughout the text, that he is an open Marxist.
That's not the...
For activism. Okay, my statement stands. I'll carry on.
Yes, thank you. So we have to keep it pertinent to the collection of Terwilliger Elementary.
I understand that, but I'm trying to establish the age appropriateness and argue that it's not age appropriate, but I'm not clear on what age is targeted by this book, and tell me the Dewey Decimal System for its location in the catalog does not clarify the age appropriateness.
It will not.
Agreed. So the age appropriateness, as indicated in the catalog of Destiny, which is available for all books in the district, including Terwilliger, states that it's for reading levels 3.1. However, the acquisition form that they used said it was appropriate for grades 4 to 7. I simply want to know which grade or age it's aimed at so I can make my argument that it's inappropriate for that age. Choose your age and I'll make my argument.
Excuse me, Dr. Miller. Where are you getting your information from for that particular?
For which one? The Destiny here? This is the online card catalog that's available in the district to let every parent know of what books are sitting in which library and their information. This is a district page.
Do you have that in your documents?
I do. It's in Exhibit 3.
Exhibit 3 of which?
We also have the school media specialist and the district media specialist who can confirm that Destiny indeed is the district catalog system.
I looked at a number of the specific complaints. One of them that was most interesting was, it's an ABC book, so the R's talk about radical reds and a bunch of things, but has a picture. It's a cartoon, but not a funny cartoon, but a cartoon of faces in a group extending out toward the infinite, but in the group appearing like they're having a candle vigil. I looked at them and I was only able to recognize potentially 2 faces, Dr. King and Rosa Parks. And as far as I'm concerned, they were not known as Nazi or communist sympathizers, but that was Dr. Marul's complaint about that particular picture. Later on, when I got Dr. Marul's evidence yesterday, I looked and it had an outline of all those people with numbers that tell me who they are. And then I wasn't even sure if I recognized most of them. So I'm not sure if I, at my age, which I am not happy to reveal, is pretty up there. I don't think a 6 to 9-year-old is going to be influenced or shocked by seeing any of those pictures. The last one I thought was an interesting one was out Z for Zapatista, complaining about violent guerrilla warfare. The Zapatistas were indigenous Mexican people who fought against early attempts to get Mexico united. Much like a bunch of fellows in the 1700s in Boston Harbor tossed tea over the side of a ship. You know, today's guerrillas may be tomorrow's patriots.
Slide 31, common selection criteria for instructional materials, library materials, and reading lists. Factors to consider for any material include avoiding unsolicited theories that may lead to student indoctrination. Did you use this factor as you were considering the appropriateness of this text for the library?
No.